Good afternoon. My name is Katrina Crawley, and I'm from a company called Jazzy Cat. Jazzy Cat's mission and passion is to empower children 18 months to 12 years old to take ownership of their own good health. We do this by physical activity and nutrition education, as well as health and wellness promotion services. So why are we here today? We're talking about our innovation, which is the Health Ambassador Program or Health Ambassador Plan. What we want to do is to take our nutrition modules that we already have that teach and train adults to teach and train children, to redesign those plans to teach and train children to teach and train children. So we want to use the peer-led model to get our children really infused and engaged and inspired to teach themselves as well as to teach their peers. Childhood obesity is at an all-time high. In Michigan alone, there are 300,000 children between the ages of 2 and 17 who are overweight or obese. This leads to chronic, unnecessary illnesses. Our doctors are treating type 2 diabetes and other things that were left for an older population that we're now seeing in our young children. And we want to innovate, encourage, and educate our children to be empowered. And so how do we do this with the Health Ambassador Plan? Well, again, we have 2 revenue streams. One is a service model, and then the other is a product model. We want to take our Jazzy Cat healthy lifestyle curriculums and innovate them to turn schools into Health Ambassador school clubs, where we find engaging and fun ways where children come together in health and wellness promotion and nutrition education. Our product is to redesign our healthy lifestyle curriculums, again, to an instructional model or toolkit that can be sold. And sold to whom? Our primary target is schools and school districts. Our end user are the students within those schools. Our primary persona, we're looking to target Jordan Alexander. And just who is Jordan? Jordan is an 8-year-old, 3rd grade student who is 10 to 15 pounds overweight. His pediatrician has told him and his mom that he must lose this weight, but didn't offer any suggestions or solutions other than get more activity, eat better. Those were the only solutions that his pediatrician had for Jordan and his mom. We want to take our Health Ambassador program and be able to teach and train Jordan, where he becomes empowered to teach and train someone else. So we have a service, which is our Health Ambassador clubs that will be at schools in an after-school format. And then we have our training kit or toolkit that can be sold to schools, also can be sold to others, such as community centers, can be sold to parents, it can be sold to child care facilities and other groups. And so what is our value proposition? Well, we know there are a lot of fitness and nutrition clubs out there and people targeting childhood obesity. Our innovation is, of course, the peer-led model. What does this do for schools, our primary customer? It allows schools to integrate health and wellness in the school day without taking away from precious instructional time, because our curriculum can be taught during the lunch hour, during breakfast hour, or in an after-school format. So that is a cost savings to the school. How did we get community voice? Well, Jazzy Cat values the child. For us, it means community, health, inspiration, leadership, and decision-making. And so we went out and talked to kids. We went out and talked to principals. We actually talked to a principal at University Preparatory Academy School District who is willing to have us pilot our program at her school. And so with your help, we can do that and empower our children to take ownership of their own good health. Thank you.
So let me start by highlighting one. It was clear in terms of the mission and the focus. I appreciated that there was actually kind of some summary and repetition to make sure that people were really clear about what were the most important aspects of your work, including, like your close. I saw several opportunities in terms of things that I know that you can do. So the first thing that struck me is that I heard you say will a lot versus have. I mean, you are an experienced business that has done these things. So we want to make sure that people are really clear about what you've done, who you've already worked with, where you are, what you have learned from actual young people and, actual customers. Also, you, in the same vein, you had said kind of this is who we're targeting, again, versus who you have experience with, and then who you also have already begun conversations with, gotten commitments from, and where you're moving in terms of growing, like the business. I think probably the biggest thing of me was just passion. I mean, I know that you may, like be nervous, like today in terms of talking about financials and that aspect of it, but we know that you're so passionate about what you're doing, and definitely we want that to come across. Because even though you may not be the person actually out working with kids, but since I believe that is also part of your experience, it would be great for them to kind of see you as an example of somebody like, wow, I can see, how my kids would love working with somebody who's under, like her leadership. And because you do have an impressive, like experience base outside of Jazzy Cat, I would suggest you might want to highlight that again, not to list, but just kind of share with some of your business experiences, including the slide in that you are a lawyer. One other thing is that you kind of talked about the adult model and then the youth-led model, and I was thinking that there was just a way that could have been said a little smoother, like a more, like plainly.
Nice job, Katrina. You have a presence about you that I think is really nice. You knew your speech, you didn't have to read from your notes, so I think that really helps. And I liked how you faced the panel and you addressed us and you had eye contact, and I think all of those things really help make your presentation very nice. Couple of suggestions. I think Chandra highlighted talking about the success that you have so far, similar to the feedback that I gave to Jordan. You've got experience, you know how to run a company, you've had some successes, so talk about that because investors will feel more comfortable if they know that you know what you're doing. I was not very clear on the cost savings piece. You talked about how the curriculum could be taught during breakfast or lunch or after school, but I wasn't clear on how that translates to a cost savings for the school. And how the curriculum ties into the school curriculum and the requirements that schools have. They have to teach to the MEP and they have to meet certain requirements, and so how your curriculum ties in and has it been vetted and whatnot. And then also I wasn't clear on who's going to pay for the school program. And I don't know, have you talked to any customers, and is that something that they're willing to pay for? Grant funding is, okay. Yeah, because funding for after-school programs and things like that is available, but it's decreasing, and so just kind of addressing that piece a little bit more. But nice job.
Good job, Katrina. You're very passionate, and your passion really sold me. I thought that came across very clear. I would say, so your idea is very innovative to bring a peer-to-peer model to children, which I like. But when you have something that's very innovative like that, the key question that came to me was, is this going to work? And it seems that you have experience doing this on the adult level, so maybe talk about the success of this model with adults, and then that's why you want to bring it to the children, because it's been so successful before. So maybe even, I don't know if there's been studies that support this, but if there are, one or two sentences saying that I know this works and this is why. So, but overall, good job.
Great. Katrina, excellent delivery. I felt the entire time that I was actually having just a one-on-one conversation with you and was very engaging. So I liked that that you were confident and that you spoke clearly. And even in what you're saying, in listening to you, every time I came up with a question, well, what about this? You addressed it immediately. So points of skepticism that I would come up with, you challenge it directly in your material. So I think that was also very good, very well done. So there are other things that I thought were strengths, an acknowledgement that something that was developed for adults needs to be tailored to children right now. And as an investor, I know exactly what my money could go into. It essentially is customizing a tool, and it's a very necessary step in developing your product. So I think it's the fact that you highlight exactly what you want to use an investment for is a strong part of the pitch component. Now, things that I guess to provide feedback on, this model of using peer-to-peer leading, I was curious as to whether or not your curriculum could be integrated with anything else that's already out there. I mean, just this model of itself might already be happening in schools where the teachers identify strong individuals, and so can you integrate that somehow? Is that an opportunity for you? And also, in just your basic description of the peer format, you could, I think, save time in the rest of your presentation to say other things if you succinctly just, instead of walking a person through their own mental logic from parent to parent or adult to adult and then from adult to kid and peer to peer, just a simple one sentence summary of that.